So I've been doing some serious reflecting on this absolute roller coaster of a year, building my newsletter from 0 to 70,000 plus subscribers. And can I just say the rules on Substack have completely changed? And if you're feeling like your perfectly planned content calendar isn't converting subscribers into buyers, well, you're not alone. Your analytics may look good, your open rates are decent, you're consistent, you're providing value, and yet there are crickets when you ask for money. And I know you know this. But I know you already know this. You're living it, you're feeling it. So the real question isn't, am I doing something wrong? But the real question is, what changed and how can I adapt to actually make money in 2026? Well, buckle up, because what I'm about to share is going to completely flip how you're thinking about your entire newsletter strategy next. Welcome to the story economy. And that's right, we're not in the how to content era anymore. We are not even in the value stacking area. We have officially entered what I'm calling the story economy. And the creators who understand this shift, they are about to have their best revenue year ever. Let me break down what's really happening right now, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So, first of all, AI has completely commoditized strategy. Anyone can hop on ChatGPT or any other AI and get a personalized business plan, a content calendar, a growth strategy completed with frameworks and step by step instructions. The how to content you spent hours researching and organizing, well, ChatGPT can generate that in 30 seconds or less. And that strategic framework you worked so hard to develop, it's now available to anyone with an internet connection instantly for free. Secondly, we are drowning in strategies but starving for connection. Your ideal subscribers have consumed endless tactical content. They have saved 47 or more ultimate guidelines. They have bookmarked over 100 LinkedIn posts with frameworks. They have screenshot your threads, and yet they are still stuck, still not executing, still feeling alone. And third, people are exhausted from being taught at. More frameworks, more systems, more steps to do XYZ, more strategies that sound smart but feel empty, like eating a meal that looks Instagram perfect but tastes like cardboard. Everyone is optimizing content, but very few creators are making readers actually feel something. And most of all, we are all tired of performative expertise. The polished pose, the I have it all figured out energy, the guru vibes, it's exhausting to read and it's definitely exhausting to write. So, what does it all mean for your Substack and how you should position yourself this year? Okay, there is a big shift, and this is why it matters. Here's what I want you to really get. Since ChatGPT can give people all the strategies and teach them all the frameworks, and since we are collectively overwhelmed with consuming more tactics, what people are actually craving and what they're willing to pay for is story driven transformation, not strategic information. Think about it. The newsletter creator making 10K, 25K a month, they're not the ones with the most polished frameworks or the best ultimate guides. They're the ones telling stories that make you think, holy shit, that's exactly how I feel. Or I thought I was the only one. They don't write 7 steps to build a business. They write, I almost priced my offer at $47 and it would have cost me 7,000 or plus. Here's what happened at 11 p.m. when I was lying in bed feeling sick about it. Story, not strategy. Look at every Substack bestseller that you know out there. They are not teaching better than ChatGPT can. They are being more human instead than ChatGPT ever could. They understand that humans don't subscribe to newsletters for information. We can Google, actually scratch that. We can search that with Perplexity AI anytime. We subscribe because we want to feel less alone. We want someone to articulate what we're experiencing. We want proof that someone else gets it. Listen, the pattern is clear. And yet, so many newsletter creators are still stuck in the old paradigm, positioning themselves as experts, sharing strategies rather than humans sharing stories. So, what does it all mean for you? What does it mean for your newsletter in 2026? In the story economy, the creators who will absolutely dominate, the ones getting paid subscribers, selling out offers, building communities people can't leave, aren't the ones with the most comprehensive guides. They're the ones with the most honest stories. And if you're a business newsletter, then you would not share 5 productivity hacks. You would be telling the story of the Tuesday morning you realized you carefully planned week was bullshit and you threw it all the way to launch an offer in 48 hours that made $4,000. If you're a parenting newsletter, you will not list 10 tips for bedtime routines. You will describe your 3 a.m. moment. You sat on the bathroom floor crying because you yelled at your kid again and what you learned about yourself in that moment. And if you're a career newsletter, you are not teaching how to negotiate salary. The conversation you had with your boss at 2:47 p.m. on a Thursday when you finally asked for what you were worth, including the part where your voice shook and you almost chickened out. The creators who will dominate in 2026 understand that readers don't have an information problem. They have a connection problem. And no amount of strategic content will solve loneliness. This is the future. Actually, this is the present. And the creators getting all the paid subscriptions already know this. Okay, I know what you're going to tell me right now. But Anna, I've built my whole brand on being the expert. I have spent years building credibility. My whole brand is about being knowledgeable. Won't storytelling make me look less professional? Listen, your expertise isn't going anywhere, but expertise without story is forgettable. And I learned this the very, very hard way. In my first 3 months building my Substack newsletter, I wrote strategic content, clean frameworks, organized systems, professional as hell. Know how much I made? $1,200 in 3 months. But then I wrote about fainting in a hotel bathroom at 3 a.m. after getting promoted to senior VP, about lying in bed at 11:47 p.m., scared to price my offer at $497, and about going bankrupt 3 times and laughing by the third one. Revenue in the next 3 months? Yes, it skyrocketed. It went more than $20,000. And it's not because I changed who I am. It was the same expertise and the same knowledge. It was just different packaging. Your expertise is your foundation, your credibility, your authority. But your story is what makes people pull out their credit cards. People trust experts, but they pay storytellers. So let me tell you a bit about the psychology behind why all of this works. And I'm sure you will agree with me. This is what neuroscience tells us about how humans actually make decisions. We don't buy based on logic. We buy based on emotion and then justify it with logic. When you share a strategy, you activate the logical brain. And people think that makes sense. I should do that. Then they close the tab and never think about it again. When you share a story, you activate the limbic system, the part of the brain that processes emotion, memory, and connection. And that's when people feel, oh my God, that's me. I'm not alone. If they figure this out, maybe I can too. And that's when they subscribe. That's when they upgrade to pay. That's when they buy your offers. Because you are not just teaching them something, you are making them feel something. And humans will pay a premium to not feel alone. Think about the last thing you bought from a creator. I'll bet money it wasn't because they had the most comprehensive guide. It was because they told a story that made you think, this person gets me. And listen, I'm in the same boat, okay? I'm making this shift in real time. I am making exactly these steps myself, and I want to be totally transparent about what's changing. I caught myself still writing strategic posts, still organizing content around frameworks, and maybe I'll still do that from time to time, still trying to be the expert who has it all figured out. But that's not who I am, not entirely. I'm also a mom who works 2 hours a day while my baby naps. I'm someone who quit a senior VP job after fainting in a hotel bathroom. I've gone bankrupt 3 times and rebuilt every time. I've lived in more than 50 cities and didn't own a home because I was scared to charge for the dollars. Those stories, those are what make people buy. Not my 5 steps framework for offer positioning, but the story of lying in bed at 11:47 p.m., texting my friend, almost pricing myself out of $7,000 because I was scared. When I share that story, people message me and say, I'm doing the exact same thing right now with my pricing. Thank you. And then they buy my $497 program because story sells, strategy educates. And I want to educate and sell. So I'm leaning all the way into story. And this is the shift I'm inviting you into as we move further into 2026. Okay. How to make this shift without losing your credibility now? That's the real question. Well, first of all, stop asking yourself, what valuable content can I share? And start asking, what story from my life illustrates this lesson? Your expertise is the lesson, but your story is the delivery mechanism. Your knowledge creates trust, but story creates buyers. Here's the formula I use. The old post structure that was all about strategy first will go like this. Headline: 5 steps to price your offers. Intro: why pricing matters. Steps 1 to 5: research competitors, calculate costs, add margin, test pricing, adjust based on data, buy my course. Results: 2,000 reads, probably 3 paid subscribers, and maybe $50 revenue. Here's the new post structure that goes story first. The headline would sound something like, I almost priced my offer at $47. It would have cost me $7,000. The story: September 12th, 11:47 p.m., lying in bed, feeling sick. The conversation with my friend will follow next. The fear of charging $497, then changing it anyway at 6:23 a.m., then making $8,247 instead of $799. And the lesson: higher prices are sell better, counterintuitive but true. The framework: here's how to price confidently. A call to action: want the complete system? Join here. Results: more than 8,000 reads, more than 40 paid subscribers, more than 2,000 revenue plus 12 program sales. Same expertise, different packaging. Story first, strategy second, sales follow. Always. For you, okay? These are the stories that actually convert. Not all stories are created equal, first of all. And here's what I've learned about which stories make people buy. Failure stories with lessons. Not here's what I did right, but here's what I did wrong and what I learned. People trust you more when you admit your mistakes, and we have all done so many. Vulnerable moments with outcomes. Not I have it all figured out, but I was terrified. I did it anyway, and here's what happened. Vulnerability creates connection, and connection creates buyers too. Specific moments, not vague summaries. Not I used to struggle with pricing, but Tuesday, 11 p.m., lying in bed, texting my friend, almost pricing at 47. Specificity equals believability, equals trust, equals sales. Before and after with proof. Not things got better, but $799 versus $8,247. Same offer, only the price changed. Number makes story credible, guys. Contrarian takes with personal proof. Not follow the guru advice, but everyone said wait for 10K subs. I launched at 427, made $2,800. Your experience is better than any theory. Here's my challenge to you for 2026. Go look at your last 10 newsletter posts. How many are pure strategy, frameworks, how-to guides, lists? And now ask yourself, did any of them make someone pull out their credit card? If not, here's why. You are teaching. you're not connecting. You're optimizing for value, not emotion. You're trying to be the expert, not the human. And this year, human beats expert every single time. Because ChatGPT can be the expert, but ChatGPT can't tell the story of lying in bed, scared to charge, texting a friend for courage, changing the price again in the morning, and making $8,000 by the end of the week. Only you can tell that story. And that story is worth thousands of dollars in paid subscriptions plus dozens of program sales. While your 5 steps to price your offers post is worth, well, maybe just a few likes. So, what am I doing differently in 2026? I'm done with the content calendars full of strategic posts, first of all. I am writing the story of fainting in a hotel bathroom at 3 a.m. after a promotion. The Tuesday morning, I got a school message from Susan at 9 a.m. saying my list is too small. The 3 bankruptcies and what each one taught me. The 50 cities I lived in and what I learned about home. Having a baby in my 40s and making more money with less time. Stories, not strategies. And I'll weave the strategy into the story. You'll learn pricing psychology through the story of my 11 p.m. panic. You'll learn small is monetization through Susan's lounge with 400 only subs. You'll learn fast execution through my bankruptcy stories, but you'll feel the story first. The strategy is just the bonus, and that's what sells. This is what really nobody wants to hear. Your strategic content isn't converting because it's boring. Not poorly written, not unhelpful, but boring. It sounds like everyone else. It could have been written by ChatGPT. It doesn't make anyone feel anything. And if it doesn't make them feel, they won't pay. I know this is harsh, but it's true. The newsletter creators making 5, 25K, 50K per month, they're not better strategists than you. They're better storytellers. And they make you laugh, and they make you cry, and they make you rage, and they make you relate. They write about lying in bed and scared to hit publish, about the message they got in the afternoon that changed everything, about the moment they realized their entire strategy was wrong. Specific, vulnerable, human. And that's what people want. Okay, we are living in a world of absolute chaos right now. I know that, you know that too. And AI is disrupting everything. The economy is unstable. Everyone is overwhelmed. But here's what I know in my bones. We were born at this moment not to compete with ChatGPT on strategy, but to outhuman it on story. Because AI can generate frameworks all day long, but it can't replicate the feeling of reading about someone's 3 a.m. hotel bathroom moment and thinking that's exactly how I feel. It can't create the connection of this person gets me. It can't generate the trust of if they figure this out, maybe I can too. Only you can do that through your stories, through your failures, through your 11 p.m. moments, your specific Tuesdays and Thursday and 3 a.m. realizations. So, as we step further into 2026, I'm inviting you to make the shift with me from strategist to storyteller, from expert to human, from content calendar to story vault. Here's what I'm changing. Every how to post now starts with a story. Every framework post now includes a failure. Every strategic piece now has a specific moment attached to it. Not here's how to price your offer or strategy, but I almost priced mine this low, it would have cost me this, and here's what happened then when I changed it. Story first, strategy second, sales follow. Your action step now, if you want one. Go write your next newsletter post. But before you outline your 5 steps or 7 tips or ultimate framework, ask yourself this: what story from my actual life illustrates this lesson? What specific Tuesday morning? What failure that taught you this? Start with that. Tell the story. Make them feel something. Then give them the strategy too, and watch what happens to your paid subscriptions, to your offer sales, to your reply rates, to people who actually remember your post weeks later. Because strategy is forgettable, but stories stick, stories tell. Stories are the only thing AI cannot replicate. So here's to the story economy. Here's to being more human than perfect. Here's to making 2026 your most profitable year yet. Not by being a better strategist, but by being a brave storyteller. Because the world doesn't need more experts right now. The world needs more humans willing to share their moments. So stop strategizing, start storytelling, because your paid subscribers are all waiting for it.